What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Decimal Tens. My name's Nick, and on this video we're going to be playing with this stroker motor. This is none other than the Speedingtube 500 brake horsepower stroker motor. The only thing is it didn't quite last that long. It spun a shell on number 3. So Tom got in touch with us up here north of the wall, the Wildlands, and said, can you help us out? Can you have a look and see what the problem is with this engine? So that's what we're going to do. Oh, and welcome everyone who came over from Speedingtube. Smash the subscribe button. You know you want to. Tom, as you've seen his video, fitted a powder-coated rotor cover. Now, the problem with fitting powder-coated parts is that they have to be blasted before they're coated. And then there's the potential for the media of that blast, even if it's aqua blasting, to remain inside the parts. Now, it's really common on rocker covers that have baffles, which the 18T one does. So there's potential that there's been grit in the engine from the blasting process, and then obviously any other issues that we'll find in there. There has been some fingers in here already, so I'd love to, pull an engine apart and check all the torques and everything, but that's not going to be able to happen. So this is less about trying to find out what caused it. It's more about just trying to find out, is this salvageable? And then can we build it up to the spec that he wants going forward. So, are you ready, Spencer?
Can we fix it?
Can we fix it?
Yes, we can.
I hope so. So like I said before, there has been a report that there's possibly been some grit in this engine, and I can confirm that absolutely without a doubt. The underside of this rotor cover is as rough. Jesus, it is like caked, thick, sort of like gritty media. Yeah, you can even see on the inside of this rotor cover where someone's actually scraped the little bit of media away. Just to sort of prove that it is media, really, just, that it's not some rough covering. That's not a good sign. If you haven't smelt like a failed engine before, or it's almost like electrical fire kind of smell. It's like the breakdown of a metal substance. It's awful. It's got a really dry, sickly smell to it, and
Smells of death.
It smells of metal death, basically. Metal death. And this engine has that smell, doesn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Aye, Spence, we'll need a crank pulley hole tool, mind. Have we got one?
Mark 2.
Right. Oh, there we go. Any shiny belt? What's that, you want to put the belt back on?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
You'd get kicked off the 18T for him for that.
Would I?
Oh, aye. Oh, aye. I think if we can make this work right, Tom should shave his head.
I agree.
Shouldn't he? And wear a cap backwards.
And a stroker motor hoodie.
Right. So there's definite bearing material in the crankcase breather and in and around the oil filter housing here. It's not a good sign.
Put me hat on.
Put a hat on.
It's getting nippy. We need some decimal tens hats.
What we need is a brew. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Cup of tea, cup of tea, cup of tea. There's no turbos here though. Engines and turbo. I thought you were walking around with your lasses knickers in your pocket.
Yeah.
To put over your face.
Aye. And he thinks he's funny,
Right. So if you look straight away, you can see the honing marks there. That side of the cylinder actually looks pretty good, but
this side.
some nasty scores there. Oh, this side's even worse. Look at that. Oh. That's on the wall as well. So let's just literally stop this one for a second. Based on the condition of them bores, the death smell, and I can guarantee what the pistons are going to be like. I think I'm going to write this one off straight away. This isn't good. Don't have a good feeling about this one.
The bottom's trashed. The head might be alright.
Head might be alright. I mean, we might find that there's a lot of components can be reused. But in terms of this setup, I would say that block's trashed.
So now it's literally trying to get as much as we can get off this to be used. And I say that with a heavy heart.
If it can be broke, it can be fixed.
I didn't even touch this.
It's fine before you touched it.
Do you know if he'd had 5 years of thrashing, it wouldn't be so sad, would it?
Wouldn't that?
Because you'd have all those memories of Boost that stay with you forever.
Go. It looks clean in there.
All gonna be trashed.
There it is then. Number 3.
Obviously we knew that, but oh my god. Heat. Rod is trashed. Look at the heat on that. The heat marks.
Oh yeah.
Oh! Oh, that's rougher than the soles of my feet.
So this is the number 3 rod, and you can see just by looking at it that it's trash, to be honest, but there's also quite a bit of discoloration around here just from the heat. So when that shell is spun, which it obviously has, it's took out this rod completely. This is a rifle drill rod.
Number 2.
The little end feels alright, to be fair, but the piston is very badly scored here. Very bad. It's just like the sort of roughness on the inside of the bore, and just like the roughness on the inside of the rotor cover as well. It's not good. Number 2, exactly the same, so there's no terrible discoloration, but it's probably just because this bearing didn't spin. However, it is trashed. It's absolutely trashed. There's been a high amount of contamination in there. You can feel it straight away. That plus oil starvation means that that bearing at least is gone. Same for the piston. It's that really, really rough skirt on it. Quite deep scratches. You can see where there's been abrasion there. You can feel it, even through a glove. Normally, I would take an engine apart with no gloves, like I said in the past, but just you can feel it through the gloves. Number 3, trashed. Thrust. Trashed. Right, out with the crank spurs.
Three again, the worst.
Woo. So the main bearings on the block are trashed as well, obviously. Expect to see that. Onto the head now. So let's look at the top end of this engine, starting with the cam. You can see straight away, this is the intake cam, and if I focus, you'll see that the journals are scored quite badly. So much so that you can hear the grooves, and you can actually, with a little bit of pressure, you can feel that as it's catching on the groove. So we're definitely seeing the problems of oil control up on the cam as well, the intake cam. It's not in good nick. So the exhaust cam pretty much the same. You can see the deep scores there, and you can see the pick there catching on the score. So that's not good either. And then the worst bit so far here, where the cam sits, again a nasty, nasty deep score here on the head. More deep scores here, and you can actually see on the sides where the grit has been attacking where the cam sits. It's all nice and shiny, and that's exactly the same all the way along. It literally feels like rough sandpaper, and you can see the rough edges. Could you hear that off Spence? So after all that, let's get into the nitty gritty. So in the end, it's a real shame, but when you really take it apart and have a look at it, the block, that's gone. The crank, that's gone. So therefore, the caps and all that, they're gone. The bearings, all gone. In terms of the rods and the pistons, number 3 rod is definitely gone. 1, 2 and 4 could possibly be salvageable, but we'll need to measure. The pistons, I'm really sort of on the fence about the pistons because essentially they're gone. But I think with a bit of polish and some adjustment of piston to wall clearance, if a new block was bored, then they could possibly be salvageable. The cams, I think they're pretty much gone, which is a real shame because they're an expensive set of cams. The head, I'm sorry, but I think the head is gone. The cam journals just feel like sandpaper. They feel really, really bad. So I mean, I think on the whole, I mean, this engine is dead. But there is some expensive bits here, and there's loads of stuff like the hardware, the ARPs, you know, the tensioners, the water pumps, the oil pump. I would probably suggest you wouldn't reuse because of the grit issue. So final assessment in terms of the failure as well. I mean, I think the engine was put together perfectly fine. It looks good, really good standard. I think you can tell, you know, when you have a look at how much sealant they use and, you know, the way that things are just bolted together, all the torques are nice and even. And then obviously it's from a reputable engine builder, so I've got no problems suggesting that it has been put together well. So really I think when it comes down to it, there's only one issue why this engine failed.
Because of this cam cover. I was going to swear there, but I didn't. Because of this, because of one shiny cam cover that's been powder coated, been blasted first, which the problem was the blasting. We'll take him out just to look where the grenade was sitting all that time waiting for Tom to start his engine.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. I mean, the whole engine is covered in a really thin, oily film of grit, you know. Everything looks like it's had sandpaper rubbed against it, and the whole thing just stunk of that horrible, you know, like breakdown of metal, bearing material, metal death. I think we called it before, didn't we? So, I think what we'll do is we'll end this one here. May this be a lesson to anyone if you are planning on doing engine building or spending a lot of time on it. The really cool thing about it is that, you know, it's the sum of all the parts. So, you know, you could have like a really perfectly put together engine, and it can all be destroyed by one little thing. So you really got to make sure that you knuckle down and learn everything about it and immerse yourself in it. Because if you don't, this could possibly happen. And really mad thing is about that this really, it isn't Tom's fault.
No.
He was sold that rocker cover. So he just put that on in good faith, not knowing that it was going to cause this much damage. Sadly, I think this one has went a bit south. But anyway, we're gonna get back onto Tom now. Who knows, will this video even make it out to the world? It's up to him, that, to be honest. So thanks very much for watching. If you've come over here from Speedingtube, then please hit subscribe, because we will either be involved in resurrecting this or possibly putting it to bed, who knows. But thanks very much for watching. Decimal Tenths, Nick, Spence. See you next time.